Hello and welcome to Heavenly Album Covers. We are going to take a comical look at a comical album cover by comedian and joke expert Morey Amsterdam, and here is the Morey Amsterdam album. It's a comedy album. I have not personally listened to this album yet, but we will put it on the Heavenly turntable in a few moments and give it a listen. And it's a very interesting cover. It's laid out almost like a newspaper. It has this big headline up here and then some sub headlines here, and it all kind of drops down to some of the track listings here. Morey Amsterdam was born in 1908. And he passed away in 1996. He was known for his role as Buddy Sorrell on the old Dick Van Dyke comedy show in the early 1960s. When he was a child, he worked in vaudeville with his brother, and they told jokes and they played their instruments. And Morey Amsterdam was a very good cello player, and he survived with his brother telling jokes and doing music in vaudeville in the very early 20th century, I think that is. And later on, Morey Amsterdam wrote jokes for other comedians. He wrote jokes for politicians and presidents, and he wrote jokes for movie, TV, and radio shows. And he even had his own radio show for a while. And he had his finger in all sorts of comedy things, and he's mostly known for the Dick Van Dyke Show. He was very funny on that, and those reruns are still available to watch. And here we have a drawing. It's a piece of artwork by Dick Van Dyke himself here. It's signed here, Dick Van Dyke, and Dick Van Dyke did this little drawing here. It's very comical. Morey Amsterdam has very wide eyes. It almost looks like something from a horror movie, like he's scared, or he's been shocked, or he's seen the Wolfman or something. This album is called Funny You Should Ask, and it features impossible interviews with Morey Amsterdam. It also features Richard Deacon and Rose Marie from the Dick Van Dyke Show, and a woman named Joan Shawley, and this is in mono sound. There is also a stereo version of this floating around, and the funny thing about this album is it has a little price sticker up here from a place called Build and Save from the Department 5, and this was 79 cents at some time at the Build and Save store. And there's Morey Amsterdam right there, and Dick Van Dyke's little signature there at the bottom. It's quite wonderful to actually have an album cover with a piece of artwork by Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke is still around. He's in his 90s. And as we flip this over, we still get that kind of newspaper look here. There's the headline up here, the sub headline, and the sub headlines down here. It works down into these very many liner notes down here. Here is Rose Marie from the Dick Van Dyke Show. Rose Marie and Richard Deacon. Richard Deacon was great on his own. Here is Morey Amsterdam. And if you're interested in Morey Amsterdam, there's several really interesting interviews with Morey Amsterdam on YouTube. He was a real funny guy. He really got around, and he wrote a lot of jokes for a lot of other comedians and things. He really did the job. And so let's take a listen to the album Funny You Should Ask.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Chopin's famous Polonaise, being played by the immortal composer himself. All the way back from the year 1849, here is the famous
Well, I always say if you have the right key, you can play in any flat.
That's very informative. Now, to get just a bit personal, how about your girlfriend, George Sand?
Yeah, how about George? She's a swell fella. My first experience with Sand was on the beach at Coney Island. As a matter of fact, she's right here in the studio, Texas. She put him in the guillotine and... Kabaloonie.
Sir Isaac, I know that you invented the telescope. Tell us something about your work.
So that's Morey Amsterdam. It's kind of one of those albums that you have to listen to while you're on a there he is. He's got kind of psychotic eyes there. But it sounds like this is a